Oh my God. Sick. I bit my cheek so hard that it's bleeding. Okay, so what you might not have seen in my Zankou chicken murder video, I was trying to like tamp down my love of true crime because I was like, I don't know how people are gonna react. It's not that I didn't want to be myself, but I was just like a little trepidatious to try something new on the channel. Now that I was reaffirmed in how absolutely lovely and wonderful and supportive you are, I get to really start diving into my obsessions with true crime. Somebody on my Patreon, you guys know I love my Patreon so much, it's right there if you're looking for it. After I put up my Zankou chicken murder video, I was like, oh my God, you guys, talking to my patrons, I was like, you guys, I'm so nervous, I'm scared everyone's gonna hate it. And they were so sweet and so supportive and so nice, of course, thank you guys. And they were like, no, it was so good, we liked it, I didn't know you liked true crime so much, da-da-da. And then my patron said like, oh, you should do the death row food video. And I was like, holy shit. That was going around online maybe a couple years ago, people trying like famous death row meals. I was like, that's fucking perfect, dude. So, guess what we're doing today? We are going to dive into the We're going to dive into 6 of the top death row meals that I was interested in. I am getting all of my like murder information kind of just like from all of the podcasts and articles and documentaries I've seen and read, but I am going to be referencing the CBS News article by Christina Capatides called Last Meals of Death Row Inmates, showcasing this artist who I didn't know about called Henry Hargreaves. He takes these beautiful pictures of these death row meals because he feels that when you know what somebody eats, you know who they are. And I really resonate with that. I will just, of course, be linking the article down below. You know how we work here on this channel. I'm not gonna, like some people got like 15 lobster tails and 4 steaks and da-da-da. I'm gonna make it a meal that I could actually kind of eat because I A, don't want to waste money, B, don't want to waste food, and C, you know, I don't need 15 lobster tails hanging around. Let's start with one of my favorite murders, actually. Now, I think it's important for anybody who is not familiar with like the true crime community. I do not mean favorite murderer like great job. I mean favorite murderer like my brain is so blown away by the horror and terror that this person caused, and I don't understand how a person can physically, mentally, just in any right mind like do so. Well, they're not in their right mind, but that is not an excuse. So that's what I mean by favorite murderers. We're going to have the death row meal of John Wayne Gacy. If you guys don't know who John Wayne Gacy is, he is a very notorious serial killer who was in the Midwest area. 70s was a tricky time for the old USA and murderers, I'll tell you what. He was sentenced to death for the horrible acts that he did to young boys and men, ages like 14 to like their mid to late 30s. And he's a horrible, horrible person. He was a fan of KFC because he used to work there and like he was managing some of them that his father-in-law owned. It was the whole thing. So his last meal was a bucket of KFC chicken, french fries, 12 fried shrimp, and a pound of strawberries. Now, last time I ate shrimp, I got sick. And, you know, I'm not risking my insides for anybody, especially not John Wayne Gacy. So I skipped the shrimp. I'm so sorry. We have our fried chicken, french fries, and strawberries. Now, I'm gonna be rating this on a 1 to 5, 5 being this was a good choice on last meal, and 1 being, wow, really bad last meal choice. Fries are obviously delicious. You know, I really don't eat fried chicken much. Not because I don't like it, but because my mom makes the best fried chicken, and she does, and I don't live super close to her, so. The reason that I am so interested and like scared of John Wayne Gacy is because that's so many people. It's so many innocent people. Oh my God. And okay, so he also has the nickname of the Killer Clown. What's interesting about that is when I first heard that, I was like, oh, he must have like dressed up as a clown and killed people. Like 2011 vibes. But he was one of these scary dudes who was like murderer in plain sight. Like the guy you would least expect. He had a family, he had a wife, he had kids. He was a child's birthday clown. So like, I don't know if you guys know this, I was a child's birthday mermaid for a while. We can talk about that in a different video. He went to kids' parties dressed up as a clown, and he didn't do anything there. Like, that was just like a side gig, like a thing he liked to do, because in the neighborhood, everyone was like, oh, he's the best. And then they were like, no. There's a certain way, and it's so funny. It's like the American like Clown Association or something has specific regulations for like the way that clowns look, because it has to be relatively uniform. And his makeup that he used to do did not fit with the makeup, because his makeup was super pointy and like weird and scary. Everyone's like, dude, you're a clown. It should be like rounded and happy. And he was like, no, I'm a f***ing murderer. So far, I mean, really great. Some straws. I think this is very interesting. His choice in last meal. It's sort of like this greasy, you eat it when you're not feeling super great. At least that's my experience with like super like fast food vibes. It's not, for me personally, eating fast food like this is not a great feeling, but it is like, you gotta do it sometimes. This like weird kind of like greasier portion is like who this guy actually was. And it's like, oh, but a pound of strawberries too. Well, maybe the fool just likes strawberries. Maybe he was trying to like mask his f***ing disgusting nature, even with his last meal. So I'm gonna say 4 out of 5. That would be a good last meal. Now we're moving on to another heavy hitter. I don't know if anybody listens to last podcast on the left, but the heavy hitter murderers are like Ted Bundy, Charles Manson, BTK, John Wayne Gacy, Jeffrey Dahmer, like all these names that you've heard in your life. That's kind of like my interest. Like my mom loves cults, and like my other friend loves like diseases and stuff like that. Everyone's got their vibe. If you don't know who Ted Bundy is, you must not be a Zac Efron fan. Ted Bundy was sentenced to death for not countless, there is a number. Ted Bundy was sentenced to death for a lot of reasons, mainly the horrible acts that he did to women, murders and prison escapes, and so many things. He was a disgusting, horrible human being, which is gonna be a theme throughout this episode. But, no but. That was the wrong word. And with that, he refused to have a last meal. Like, he didn't put in a request for it. And in different states, there are different regulations. Sometimes you're allowed to request alcohol. Sometimes you can request whatever you want. Sometimes the budget doesn't allow for it, whatever. Where he was put to death was Florida. And at the time, Florida's like last meal for everybody, if they didn't request one, like their default, was a very big American style breakfast. Toast with jam, hash browns, steak, and eggs. And a juice. Hold on, let me get the juice. I'm really trying not to spill this coffee that is so full on my bed. Ted Bundy was so sick and so vile that he didn't even eat his last meal. He said he didn't want any, they gave it to him anyway. He did not have a single bite of it. Wowza, he is a horrible person. Here's a quick PSA. Don't ever trust anyone, ever. So, but you know what you can trust? Is for me to make perfect over medium eggs. Ted Bundy used to put his arm in a cast and ask women to help him load stuff into his car, which he would then get the women, do horrible things to them by trying to like prey on the nature of like the kind giving nature of people, especially women. And everybody always said like, oh, he was so hot, he was so hot. He was I think he was probably like 60s hot, like when he was, killing a bunch of people. And so this is just a reminder that while yes, we should be teaching people to not murder and not rape and not sexually assault, we still need to be careful. So don't help anybody into their cars. Don't talk to anybody at night. Lock your door as soon as you get in your car. Don't be on your phone looking around at other stuff at night. Don't do anything. Don't trust anybody. Don't talk to anybody. Keep to yourself. Stay safe. And don't have dark hair and a ponytail around Ted Bundy. So, this one f***ing slaps. You know what? I'm glad that he didn't eat this because it's very good and he doesn't deserve it. Here's the thing. For anybody who's watching that doesn't understand why I like true crime, or why anybody likes true crime, like why there are so many podcasts about it, why there are so many documentaries about it and things like that. At least in my experience, it's because it's so hard to understand how somebody could be so horrible. And I just kind of want to try and like feel like I can almost prepare for it. And I am like very anxious and worrisome by nature, so it's probably not the smartest thing in the world, but it does give me some weird form of solace to know that this is out in the world and to have the ability to do whatever I can to make sure that I'm at least as aware as I can be, you know? I don't know. Maybe other people have different reasoning, but that's mine. And obviously it's just like morbidly fascinating. Like it's just like things that you just could never imagine in your whole life. Maybe I'm a horrible person. That's it. Also, I already made that joke, that I'm glad he didn't get to eat this because it's delicious. This is my f you to Ted Bundy. I'm gonna eat your breakfast. This one gets a 5 out of 5. We are on to our third death row meal, and that one is going to be, I just want to make sure I say his name right, Victor Figuer? Victor Fegwer? He doesn't deserve me to have his name said properly. This is one I didn't really know about, but his death row meal is so interesting. Was put to death in Iowa by hanging at the age of 28. He was sentenced to death for kidnapping and murder. On my further research, he was looking in the phone book for doctors. Like his whole plan was to like kidnap and murder a doctor for like prescription drugs. And he called, and finally I listened to the Crime Countdown podcast because I was trying to find more about this guy, and apparently he said that like his wife was sick or something and it was an emergency, so this doctor came, he murdered him, then sold his car a few weeks later and obviously got caught. So not only is he a terrible person, he's also a fucking idiot. His death row meal was one single olive. His request was this olive with the pit in it. Mine does not have a pit in it. Mama's not trying to break her teeth or have a hard time tomorrow. The reason he wanted the pit in it was so that when he was buried, an olive tree would grow as a sign of peace, which I don't think he's anybody who should be telling us how to be peaceful. So here we go. Here's the thing. He did it to like make a statement. And so I get that. It would be a 2 for being like, I'm different. It's bad if that's your actual last meal. Because your last meal is usually given to you 2 days before your execution. So it's not like you like pop it in and then go die. It's like munch, 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 and then 2 more sleeps. So like, mama, I'd want to be full for at least a few hours. So anyway, I get it, but it's not my vibe. Should I have a sip of coffee? Yes. But not that coffee, because that coffee's for a murderer. Our next murderer is somebody you probably wouldn't expect. I feel like most of the time, a classic trope of like, who's somebody you would trust? Who's somebody you would run to? It's like, I don't know, who looks like a grandma? Not in Velma Barfield's case, my friend. No ma'am. Velma Barfield was a murderer who killed 5 to 7 people, all by poisoning. A lot of times female murderers are more prone to less aggressive forms of murder, if that could even be said without completely contradicting itself the second I say it. Poisoning can be like a through line in female murders, and in Velma Barfield's case, that's correct. It was usually for like insurance money. Like she would like take care of elderly people, then like be like, oh my God, well I think you should just like put me on your life insurance policy as a beneficiary just in case. And you'd be like, yeah, totally, I'm only 70. And then she'd be like, lit, tink, 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 you're dead. I'm sure it was a lot more horrible than that. She did it to like husbands and people around her. So she got caught, which is great. We're big fans of that. And her last meal request was cheese puffs and a Coca-Cola. This I think is very interesting as well. And here's why. I bet that this is like her comfort food. She's like, I'm just gonna go home and have some cheese puffs and a Coke, you know? And I get it. I do love Coke though. Oh, I feel like a teenage gamer. I also always wonder if like brands like Coca-Cola, when they find out that they're somebody's last meal, are they like, fuck, why didn't they choose Pepsi? Like, like does that like hurt their reputation? Or are they like, hey man, if you're buying Coke, that's what matters. Oh, Ted Bundy wanted you. No thanks. Can you take the label off? My search history is so weird. Jeffrey Dahmer, BTK, last meal, Cindy Crawford. God, she's so beautiful. Jesus. Okay, sorry. Anyway, Velma, the death row granny. It's kind of a lot when you put it all together. I'm gonna give this another 2. Because I'm gonna give this a 3. I'm gonna give this a 3 because separately, if you're like, I just want a whole fucking bag of chips, bitch. Tea. I just want an ice cold Coke. I get it. Moving on. One last call to move on. I'm doing death row meals. We are moving on on to our 5th serial killer, and that is a name that you might be familiar with as well. And unlike our last killer, she was not afraid to get up in there. She was not a poisoning kind of gal. Yes, we have another female, and yes, it's probably who you're thinking of. We are going to dive into Eileen Wuornos. Now, Eileen Wuornos is a tricky case. She killed 7 men, point blank range. She was a sex worker, which we very much support, but she did murder a lot of people. However, she stated that she murdered them in self-defense. Like they were going way too far, she was not accepting it, she was not consenting, and then she murdered them. Now, I don't know, I wasn't there. All I'm gonna say is her last meal was a cup of black coffee. I don't think it was Starbucks branded, but maybe it was. I'm not the biggest fan of coffee. I either like a bunch of in my coffee, like a bunch of milk and sugar and all that fun stuff, or I do like black coffee if it's a very specific time where I like black coffee. I like black coffee if Michael and I just had dinner. That's kind of it. So I don't know if I like black coffee or if I like my boyfriend. So Eileen just got 1 cup of black coffee, which again, dude, I mean, it's true. It signifies it's like who they are and where they're at. She doesn't care. I would never get as my death row meal, but again, much like the olive, it is kind of poignant. So I will give it a 2 for that. Our last and final death row meal is that of somebody who is truly, all of these people are horrible. If you do not know who Timothy McVeigh is, he was the terrorist who caused the Oklahoma City bombing. The 1995 Oklahoma City bombing, I'm just reading this off of Wikipedia, that killed 168 people and injured more than 680. Just another reminder, like it's all interesting to learn about this stuff and read about this stuff and be knowledgeable, but, and as excited as I am to film this video, none of the like tragedy of these murders is lost on me. Like just because I like to talk about them and learn about them and share them with you guys because it's something that fascinates me, it's not lost on me the terror that these people have caused, the families that these people have torn apart, and it's horrible and the things that happened, but I'm gonna keep going in the way that I can educate myself and maybe teach you guys some stuff, and we're learning together and still exploring the things that intrigue us. With our last one, the truly disgusting Timothy McVeigh wanted 2 pints of mint chocolate chip ice cream. Now I know some people that would rather go on death row than eat mint chocolate chip ice cream. I am not one of them. I love mint chip. I think it's delicious. I also love the Strauss Family Creamery. I mentioned them in my hot chocolate video. They just have fantastic freaking dairy products. I am sure that Timothy McVeigh did not get ice cream as good as this, as he doesn't deserve anything, but let's dive in. I mean, so leave that in the comments. Are you a mint chocolate chip person or nah? Because you either are or you aren't. My friend Emily Fedner, also known as Food Lover's Diary, her Instagram's right there. She notoriously hates mint chocolate chip ice cream. Like, I guarantee you she's gonna say, she's gonna text me back, I hate you. I'm deceased. He also got 2 pints, which, this is a pint. That's 2 cups. Half of a quart. Like, how do you eat that much? A quarter of the way through, it's already melting. But also, I wish that Timothy McVeigh always had melted ice cream, because he doesn't deserve the beauty of a slow churn. I'm gonna give this a 3 because I don't think the logistics of it work out very well, but I do get just wanting to like fill up on ice cream. Oh, what's my death row meal? Thank you for asking. Here's what's tricky about a death row meal. I'd probably want my mom to make me something, but I think she would be pretty mad at me. So if it couldn't be that, or it couldn't be my dad coming back to life and making me spaghetti meatballs one last time, he would probably be pretty mad too, actually. I think I'd probably do a large pizza, sausage and black olive, plate of salmon nigiri, carbones, rigatoni with vodka sauce. Oh! And a bazooki for dessert. And if I could have alcohol, I'd probably have like a really nice Sauvignon Blanc or champagne or like a fat beer, honestly. What would your death row meal be? That's what I want to know. We have come to the end, which sounds ironic for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know if you liked this video, and more importantly, what else do you want to see from Irene? I love doing this true crime content. Oh my God. Sick. I bit my cheek so hard that it's bleeding. Let me know what you want to see me do. I really love making this kind of true crime food content. I wonder what else we could make happen with it. I absolutely adore you guys. I hope you have the best day. Do something nice for somebody today because you never know what somebody could be going through. So I just wish you the best, and I will see you. Is this Sunday or Friday's video? I'm gonna see you very soon no matter what. There's not gonna be 5 days that go by where we don't see each other. I love you. Mwah!